Chapter 9. Practice. Number 1. Listen to a teacher talking in an English class.
Before you write this essay, I would like to point out a couple of things. First and most importantly, please write clearly and legibly. If I can't read your handwriting, you'll get a 0. Second, if you're going to cite the book, write the page number in parentheses. Also, don't write more than 2 pages. If you can't say what you want to say in 2 pages, then you aren't being concise enough in your writing.
What will the class probably do next? Number 2. Listen to a teacher talking in a history class.
I'm afraid I have some bad news. Our field trip to the Natural History Museum has been canceled. The recent floods have damaged the museum, and it will be closed for a few months. After class, please come see me, and I'll refund the $20 you already paid for admission. Also, since you can't write an essay about this trip, I'll think of a makeup assignment this weekend. I will let you know in Monday's class.
What will the students probably do after class? Number 3. Listen to a teacher talking in a health class.
Let's talk about your extra credit assignment. Next Saturday, doctors from St. Jude's Hospital will give a presentation about the importance of a balanced diet. To get extra credit, you must attend the event and write a 2-page report. This will be worth 10 extra points. I need to let the organizers know how many students are attending by tomorrow. So please discuss this with your parents tonight and ask them if you can go.
What will the students probably do tonight? Number 4. Listen to a teacher talking in a PE class.
We're starting our softball tournament today. Jonathan, Bonnie, Peter, Harry, and Erica, please come up to the front of the class. These are the team captains. We're going to do something a little different. Instead of having the captains choose teams, members of the class will choose their team. So I'll start at the top of the class list. When I call you name, go stand behind the captain of the team you want to play on.
What will the class probably do next? Questions 5 through 8. Listen to a conversation between 2 friends.
Who called?
Oh, that was just my sister. She's coming home from her friend's house in 15 minutes. We're going to the music store to buy my cousin a birthday gift.
Are you going to get him a CD? Your cousin has more CDs than anyone I've ever met in my life.
Yeah, he's been collecting them for quite a while now. But because he has so many, my sister and I can't decide what to get him. He loves rap music, so we were going to buy the new Kanye West album. But I have a feeling that he already has it. I mean, he is Kanye's biggest fan.
Does he like pop music? I really like the Kings of Leon because their songs are catchy. I would definitely recommend their album.
No, I don't think my cousin listens to pop. Although he does like classic pop artists like Michael Jackson, but I'm pretty sure he has all of his CDs too.
Well, why don't you get him a gift card instead of a CD? That way, he can just go out and buy whatever he wants. And you don't have to decide which CD to get him.
Yeah, I mean, that's not as fun as actually buying a CD, but it's a good idea in this case. I'll talk to my sister about it. Speaking of which, I need to get ready. Do you need a ride? I can ask my sister if she can take you home.
No, I'll just walk.
Now answer the questions. Number 5. Why does the girl like the Kings of Leon? Number 6. Why does the boy mention Michael Jackson? Number 7. Why are the boy and his sister having difficulty choosing a CD for their cousin? Number 8. What will the boy and his sister probably buy for their cousin's birthday? Questions 9 through 12. Listen to a conversation between a student and a school secretary.
Excuse me, who do I speak to about starting a new club on campus?
Oh, you need to see Mrs. Reynolds, but she's been sick for the past couple of days. She won't be back in the office until next Monday. I may be able to help you with any general questions you might have.
I'm thinking about starting an environmental club, but I don't really know where to begin.
Well, speaking to Mrs. Reynolds is the first step. She oversees all the clubs on campus. From my understanding, starting a new club isn't very difficult, but it requires some time and patience. The first thing you have to do, after talking to Mrs. Reynolds, is to write up a club constitution. That basically explains the purpose of the club. It must include the names of at least 5 members and a list of goals its members want to accomplish. You also need to find a faculty advisor. Since you're thinking about starting an environmental club, you may want to ask Mr. Lawrence, the environmental science teacher. I'm sure he'd be interested. After you submit your constitution, it takes about 3 weeks to get it approved.
Once our club is approved, can we start holding meetings and events right away?
I'm not sure, but Mrs. Reynolds can explain about this in more detail. So, do you want to schedule an appointment with her on Monday?
Yes, that would be great. Thank you.
Now answer the questions. Number 9. Why can't the boy speak to Mrs. Reynolds? Number 10. Why does the boy mention club meetings? Number 11. What is a club constitution? Number 12. Why does the woman mention Mr. Lawrence? Questions 13 through 16. Listen to a conversation between 2 friends.
Hey, Austin, what's wrong? Why are you limping?
We played basketball in PE today, and I think I twisted my ankle. It didn't bother me before, but now I'm having a hard time walking.
Oh no! Do you want me to take you to the nurse's office?
No, please don't say anything about it to anyone. I have an important game tonight, and if my coach finds out that I'm hurt, he won't play me, and I'm afraid I'll lose my starting spot on the team.
Austin, that's the least of your concerns. If you don't get that ankle checked out, you could make it worse. Plus, you can barely walk. How are you going to run for 90 minutes?
Can you just take me to the physical trainer's office? I can ask him to tape my ankle. That should help.
No, I don't think that's a good idea. I really think you should have Nurse Dotson take a look at it.
She knows that I play for the soccer team, and she'll tell my coach no matter how small the injury is. That's what happened to Teddy. He went to her because he had a headache, but when he showed up for the game later that day, Coach told him that he couldn't play.
Austin, your health is more important than a soccer game. If you don't go to the nurse, I'm going to tell your coach myself.
All right, fine. Let's go.
Now answer the questions. Number 13. Why does the boy mention PE class? Number 14. What is the boy afraid of? Number 15. Why does the boy want to go to the physical trainer's office? Number 16. What will the boy probably do next? Questions 17 through 20. Listen to a teacher talking in a science class.
Today, we're going to talk about dreaming. People dream while they sleep. Of course, this seems obvious, but sleep is like a Russian nesting doll, where a tiny wooden doll fits inside a little bigger doll, and that doll fits inside a little bigger doll, and so on. The point is this: sleep has many stages within it. So, at what stage of sleep do dreams occur then? Well, it turns out that most of our dreams occur during the deepest stage of sleep, rapid eye movement sleep, or simply REM sleep. And although we know this stage exists, we still have much to learn about it. As a person goes through the successive stages of sleep, all bodily and mental activity slows down. These stages help the body and mind to rest and recover. After the fourth stage, however, REM sleep begins and mental activity significantly increases. As the name of this stage suggests, the sleeper's eyes begin to move around rapidly. Some scientists think the person is looking at the things in his dreams. Others, however, think the eye moves to keep the brain warm and exercise the eye. Scientists believe that dreams and REM sleep have some specific function. Unfortunately, scientists do not all agree on exactly what that function is. Some scientists think REM sleep occurs when the brain is moving memories from one area to another. Other scientists believe that dreaming allows the sleeper to experience behaviors and emotions not normally encountered in a wakeful state. Finally, a recent theory suggests that dreams are the byproduct of the mind cleaning and organizing its neural system. This has been compared to the defragmenting process in computers. As I said, none of these theories are widely accepted, but I think it's worth taking a look at each of them individually.
Now answer the questions. Number 17. Why does the teacher mention Russian nesting dolls? Number 18. What is one physical change that happens during REM sleep? Number 19. Why does the teacher mention computers? Number 20. What will the teacher probably talk about next? Questions 21 through 24. Listen to a teacher talking in an art class.
Throughout history, visual art has tended to be enjoyed mainly by educated people. By the middle of the 20th century, art became so conceptual and complex that very few people could understand them. This was partly because artists no longer painted actual subjects. They painted abstract forms. Some paintings, for example, were only groups of lines. There were even paintings that just had one line across the canvas. However, some artists thought art had become too complex. So, in 1955, these artists decided to make art that was simple and easy for average people to relate to. Thus, pop art was born. The first thing pop artists did was to paint subjects. The subjects came from everyday life, so they were familiar to average people. A good example of this is Andy Warhol's painting of Campbell's soup cans. By using cans of soup as his subject, Warhol showed that a common advertisement could be art too. Roy Lichtenstein's painting titled Drowning Girl is another good example. Lichtenstein used the style of the American comic book to make the drowning girl. He chose this style because no one thought comic books were art. Comic books were silly stories with silly pictures for children. But with the drowning girl, Lichtenstein showed that comic books could be beautiful in their own way. Pop art was also made differently than traditional art. Since traditional art was made by hand, it was very expensive. Pop artists, however, used machines to mass-produce their art. This changed the artist as well as the art. In the past, artists suffered in poverty to make great art. Van Gogh, for example, died penniless. So, for the first time in history, pop artists like Warhol and Lichtenstein became businessmen as well as artists.
Now answer the questions. Number 21. Why does the teacher mention a one-lined painting? Number 22. Why did pop artists paint subjects from everyday life? Number 23. Why did Lichtenstein paint in the American comic book style? Number 24. Why does the teacher mention Van Gogh? Practice. Number 1. Listen to a conversation between a boy and his sister.
Hey, Monica, I'm going to a baseball game with some friends this weekend, and I was wondering if I could borrow your camera.
Sure, but what happened to yours?
I took it to the beach last weekend, and I accidentally dropped it in the water. I think it's broken because it won't turn on.
Well, most cameras aren't waterproof. Dad's going to be really upset.
I'm going to try and get it fixed before he finds out.
Why does the boy mention the beach? Number 2. Listen to a conversation between a student and his art teacher.
Oh, Ron, do you have a second? I wanted to ask you something. I loved your last painting, the one with the farmers out in the cornfield. So, I was wondering if I could put it in an art show.
What do you mean, Mrs. Jacobson?
Well, I'd like to display your painting at my friend's gallery. The show highlights young talent, and I have to say, you're a very talented young artist.
Why does the teacher mention her friend's gallery? Number 3. Listen to a conversation between a girl and her father.
How's the studying going?
Dad, can you please ask Lucas to stop playing the drums? I've asked him 1,000,000 times, but he just ignores me. I know we've all been encouraging him to practice, but it's so noisy. I'm having a really hard time concentrating on my studies. Why can't he practice when I'm not here? Like Tuesdays and Thursdays when I have swimming practice, or even weekends.
Okay, I'll go talk to him right now.
Why does the girl mention swimming practice? Number 4. Listen to a conversation between two friends at school.
Are you taking Introduction to Geometry with Mr. Fisher next semester?
Yes, but not by choice. I was one of the last people to register, and that was the only math class left.
Yeah, same here. My friends had Mr. Fisher last year, and they didn't like him because his classes are so boring. He's not like Mrs. Morey at all. I had her math class last year, and she was great. She makes math really fun to learn.
Why does the boy mention Mrs. Morey? Questions 5 and 6. Listen to a conversation between a boy and his mother.
Hey, Mom, why are there boxes in the living room?
Oh, hi, Travis. I didn't know you were home. Can you please carry those downstairs? I'm busy. Your uncle is moving in this weekend, and I am getting his room ready for him.
Sure. Are you and Dad going to pick him up at the airport?
Your father is, but I'm not. I have to take your sister to the hospital on Saturday morning. She's finally getting her cast removed.
Oh, right. She told me about that last night. She's pretty happy. I guess after using crutches for 6 weeks, she's looking forward to walking on her own feet.
Now answer the questions. Number 5. Why does the boy's mother ask him to carry the boxes downstairs? Number 6. Why does the boy's mother mention his sister? Questions 7 and 8. Listen to a conversation between two friends at a shopping mall.
If you're going to buy something, I think you should get the blue sweater you tried on earlier. That color looks really good on you.
No, I already have too many sweaters. And besides, the weather is getting warm. I want some cool summer clothes, like maybe a short-sleeved shirt or something.
Then what about this green shirt? It's short-sleeved. Do you want to try this on?
Okay, but I need a medium, not a large.
I don't see any mediums. All these are large or extra large. Oh, hold on. Here's a medium, but it's purple. Do you want to try this one?
Yeah, I guess that's okay.
Now answer the questions. Number 7. Why does the boy mention the weather? Number 8. Why does the boy not try on the green shirt? Questions 9 and 10. Listen to a conversation between two friends.
Hi, Andrew. Have you ever been to that Italian restaurant downtown?
You mean Little Tony's? Yeah, I went there with my parents last month. I remember because it was my dad's 40th birthday and he wanted to go there. He loves pasta, and I guess he heard that Little Tony's has the best pasta in town.
So, was it good?
I liked it. I had spaghetti and meatballs, and I thought it was really good. My mom and dad liked the food too, but they said the waiters were awful. I guess they thought the food was good, but the service was bad.
Now answer the questions. Number 9. Why did the boy's father want to go to Little Tony's restaurant? Number 10. Why does the boy mention spaghetti and meatballs? Questions 11 and 12. Listen to a conversation between a student and his teacher.
Mrs. Benson, can I talk to you for a minute?
Yes, but I need to run to the teacher's room before my next class. Do you mind walking with me?
Oh, sure. Mrs. Benson, I was wondering if you could change the day of my makeup test. I have to leave school early on Friday because of the soccer game. I brought a note from my coach explaining the situation.
Well, I usually don't allow my students to change the time for makeup tests, but I guess I have no choice. You take the makeup test on Monday. Please be in my classroom right after the final bell.
Now answer the questions. Number 11. Why does the boy mention his soccer game? Number 12. When will the boy take the makeup test? Questions 13 and 14. Listen to a teacher talking in a world history class.
At the time of Columbus, Europeans already knew that the world was round. The problem was that the ocean between Europe and Asia was too big, and they didn't think there was any land in that huge ocean. That meant the ships would not be able to stop for supplies or rest along the way. So a journey westward to Asia would be very difficult and probably would not succeed. That's why no Europeans wanted to do it. Columbus, however, was willing to make the journey, but it was only because he made a huge mistake when calculating the distance. He thought the ocean between Europe and Asia was only about 4,500 kilometers across. But that's only about half of its actual size. So it was lucky for Columbus that he landed in America.
Now answer the questions. Number 13. Why did Europeans not want to sail west to Asia? Number 14. Why does the teacher mention 4,500 kilometers? Questions 15 through 17. Listen to a teacher talking in a biology class.
According to scientists, the tomato is a fruit because it has seeds in it. However, in 1893, a court of law ruled the tomato was a vegetable. You see, in the 19th century, there was a tax on vegetables, but not on fruit. So, of course, the tax collector wanted the tomato to be a vegetable, but people objected, and eventually they took the tax collector to court. In the end, however, the judge agreed with the tax collector. He said that tomatoes were scientifically fruits. But in cooking, people used tomatoes like they were vegetables. For example, people used tomatoes to make soup, but they didn't eat tomatoes for dessert like other fruits. Thus, he ruled that the tomato was more like a vegetable.
Now answer the questions. Number 15. Why did the tax collector want the tomato to be a vegetable, not a fruit? Number 16. Why did the judge rule that the tomato was a vegetable? Number 17. Why does the teacher talk about soup? Questions 18 and 19. Listen to a teacher talking in an American history class.
Prohibition was a time in U.S. history when producing and drinking alcohol were illegal. At the time, the government decided alcohol was dangerous to people's health and safety. Prohibition, however, made drinking alcohol even more dangerous than before. Even though alcohol was illegal, people still wanted to drink it. Since they couldn't buy it, they started making alcohol in their bathtubs at home. This alcohol was not clean, so drinking it was dangerous. Furthermore, criminals also started making and selling alcohol. Some of them sold alcohol that was basically poisonous. It was like drinking gasoline, but they didn't care. During Prohibition, as many as 10,000 people died from drinking this poisonous alcohol. Meanwhile, the criminals became rich and powerful.
Now answer the questions. Number 18. Why was alcohol illegal during Prohibition? Number 19. Why does the teacher mention gasoline? Questions 20 and 21. Listen to part of a discussion in an astronomy class.
There are a number of different ways that astronomers classify stars. Some of the classifications are quite complicated. The easiest way to classify stars is by their size. There are basically 3 categories of size. The largest stars are called supergiants, and they are huge. Some supergiants are as large as our whole solar system. Next are the giants, which are smaller than supergiants. Finally, there are the dwarfs, which are the smallest of the 3. Our sun is a dwarf star.
Our sun is a dwarf star, but it looks so much bigger than other stars.
That's because it's so close to Earth. Other stars are very, very far away, so they look small. In fact, the closest star to Earth, other than the sun, is about 4.3 light years away.
Now answer the questions. Number 20. Why does the teacher mention our solar system? Number 21. According to the teacher, why does the sun look so big?